Hello guys, my name is Anna and I'm from Ukraine and I vlog daily to keep you updated on the real life situation in my country, Ukraine. If you're new to the channel, go check my videos, and if you like them, please subscribe because there are many interesting and important things that I can tell you, and also I hope that we will win soon over Russian orcs and you have to witness that on my channel. And today I want to explain you one situation that I often get questions about. Some of them have a smell of Russian trolls in the air, but still I believe need clarification. These are the questions about some arrests in Ukrainian church. And these are not actually arrests yet and not yet Ukrainian church. I have a couple of vlogs where I talk about the Russian Orthodox Church that is still represented in Ukraine. I think that this is an ideological, political, militarized organization that is dangerous for people and that spread the ideas of Ruski Mir for decades. And of course, I don't think there is a place for Moscow Patriarchate in Ukraine, especially right now. And everything that is happening connected to this Ruski Mir church. And honestly, I think that for years they were doing enough to get the reactions. One of the main things that they did all the time was provoking conflicts. And I can give you examples from my experience. When I was in Kyiv, one of the main churches is actually the Kyiv-Pechersk Lavra, which is a very old monastery that for centuries belonged to Ukrainians and Ukrainian Orthodox Church. And then after some untransparent decisions and the usage of Moscow Empire strength, we've lost this independence and they've occupied the cathedral. And when you come to buy a candle, because in Ukraine you buy candles to put them in the name of someone, they would ask you, what is your religion? And you say, I'm Christian. And they ask you, yes, but what Christian? You say, I'm Orthodox. And they say, okay, but what Orthodox? Moscow Orthodoxy or Kyiv Orthodoxy? And there are no specific differences. And I personally believe that all Orthodox people must feel home in all churches of Christian churches of the world. And if you say that Kyiv-Pechersk, they say you are a Satanist and you're not allowed to pray. Also, I had a friend who is a Catholic, and he took Ukrainian children on excursion to some of the crypts of Moscow Patriarch church that belonged to them, and they did not allow him to enter because he is a Catholic and all Catholics are Satanists. So that is the attitude, the sect-style attitude that the majority of Moscow Patriarchate churches share. I will try to connect to this video my previous story about Russian Patriarch Kirill, who is the best friend of Putin, and how they spread Ruski Mir together. But today I will explain you the things that happen in Kyiv-Pechersk Lavra with their leader Pavlo, who has also a nickname in Ukrainian life, Pasha Mercedes. Mercedes, according to a car, because he likes driving expensive cars. For example, when he was given an order yesterday or today, he was wearing Louis Vuitton scarf and Philippe Patek watch. And he used to visit Ukrainian fashion week shows where he would say that he prefers Burberry brand. So, but let's be I think that all church workers must declare taxes. In Ukraine, they don't. And many churches are guilty of using this opportunity and giving for rent some of their buildings for cafes, shops, even shops of lingerie, even in my city. So that is a very questionable moment. And many of them are really rich. And this Pavlo, the leader of Moscow Patriarchate in Ukraine, is an extremely rich person. And when journalists ask him, where did you get your money from? He says because people love me, God loves me, and it gives me. life gives me, and so on. But this is just to give you the atmosphere of this person in general. The reason for his future arrest and possibly trial is his anti-Ukrainian, pro-Russian behavior, and lots of his telephone conversations were recorded, because on his public speeches he always declined that Russia is an aggressor, and he used to explain to people who come to church that Russians are stronger, they are our brothers and they are leaders, so even if they are doing something wrong, even if they are killing us, we have to be patient, to wait through this period, to accept their superiority, and then return back to life. So after lots of such comments on news and everywhere, also knowing that the majority of Russian Patriarchate churches in Ukraine are supplied with manuals, what to say, how to react, how not to serve prayers on Ukrainian armed forces and people who died at this war. They are treated as sinners because they kill brothers. So Ukrainians who kill Russians in Ukraine are sinners, according to Moscow Patriarchate. And also many of their churches were used as storages for weapons. They cannot explain why they need weapons, but probably to support Russians when they come. Also, during brief occupations of Ukrainian territories, Moscow Patriarchate priests very often acted as agents and informed about pro-Ukrainian activists, about locations of important objects, and so on. So they were actually working as agents of Russia. So listening to the recordings of SBU, where this Pavlov speaks about many different things. Well, first of all, he glorifies the occupation of Kherson. And he says that this is good and people are happy in Kherson. And then he says that we have to accept that there are lots of NATO bases and biolaboratories on the territory of Ukraine, traditional pro-Russian propaganda, and that this is war between America and Russia till the last Ukrainian, but Ukrainians are stupid and they participate in this war instead of obeying to their brothers. Also, I was trying to put down something, but anyway, he received lots of calls from Moscow, and he says that he gets advice from people in the center. And most importantly, after the end of each service, he glorifies the Patriarch Kirill, who is the head of Russian Church, who is a former KGB agent and who is a friend of Putin, and who is like one of the pillars of Russian war in Ukraine. And of course now this is a very problematic moment. Why? I think that Ukrainian police, Ukrainian SBU should have reacted against the actions of Moscow Patriarchate much earlier. And now they are trying to depict it as political, as, I don't know, negative behavior inside Ukrainian society. But the problem is that these are people, true supporters of Russian ideology, and they spread it to very vulnerable groups of people who are dependent on them. And they have very strict rules within their sect. And when asked, is Russia a country we fight with, they say we are against aggression, we are only against aggression, but we cannot be against Russia. So it's all about Ukraine and Ukraine provoking, and we have to obey, we have to follow the, like, if you, one of your chicks, or I don't know how to quote this from Bible, but you know that. They misinterpret the context and try manipulating on people. So do not worry, these are not mass persecutions of people who simply choose a different road to God. These are people who forgot their way to God and use their position in the society to get more money, more influence, and to spread Ruski Mir. And of course, they were confident that Blitzkrieg will happen and they will be like even richer and happier. And that is always a problem when society was Russified for a long period of time, when it was divided. they've put much money in that, in the creation of this Ruski Mir embassies all over Ukraine. But once again, I'm saying always when it deals with religion, it is with language. These are always very problematic questions. And of course, Russian media will try to represent it as persecutions of holy people. But these are not holy people. These are businessmen who pray for the success of Putin and Kirill on blood of Ukrainians. So thank you so much for understanding. Thank you for asking questions and wanting to know more. I'm very grateful for your support of my channel. Thank you for buying me coffees, becoming my patrons. That's important. And thank you for your support of Ukraine. Slava Ukraini!